guys, I'm so excited for this video. It is part 2 of the recipes from the Unofficial Disney Parks Cookbook. And today's recipe, I'm going to be making the Carnitas tacos. It says that it serves 5 people, and for this recipe, you will need the following ingredients: 1 tablespoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of light brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon, 1 3/4 pounds of boneless pork cut into 2-inch chunks. It didn't really specify what pork to get, so I'm using pork butt, and I have more meat than what the recipe calls for because the pork came in this really big package, so I kind of cut it in half, and so this is half of that. So I'm just working with what I got. You also need 1 medium yellow onion peeled and quartered, 6 medium cloves of garlic peeled and crushed, 3 tablespoons of shortening, 2 large oranges divided, 2 large bay leaves, and then the 2 cups of red and green cabbage mix pictured here. We aren't including that. Josh doesn't like cabbage, and so I'm just gonna leave that part out. And then you also can use salsa and sour cream to top your tacos, and then 10 8-inch flour tortillas. For this recipe, it requires a pressure cooker or an Instant Pot. I have an Instant Pot, so that's what I'm going to cook mine in. And to get started, you're going to cut up your pork, and I already have all of my other ingredients prepped. My onion, 1 orange needs to be sliced, and then 1 orange is going to be juiced. My cloves of garlic, my bay leaves, and these are all of my seasonings. So to start off, you are going to season each piece of pork and put it in your Instant Pot. The recipe also says it needs to be in a single layer. Since I'm using more meat, I'm going to kind of shove it in there and hope it works. So
that's what she said.
We'll see if it works. Next, you are going to wedge the onions all around the pork and the garlic. Next, you are going to take your 3 tablespoons of shortening and place it on top of the pork. Next, you're going to take your orange slices and lay them evenly on top. Place your 2 bay leaves on top. And then squeeze your second orange, squeeze the juice all over the top. So now you're going to put it in your Instant Pot and get it sealed. And you are going to set it to pressure cook for 30 minutes. Allow it to come to pressure and cook for 30 minutes. Once it is done cooking, allow it to naturally release for 10 minutes.
That's what she said.
And then do the quick release for the remainder. While it is naturally releasing, you are going to want to turn on your broiler in your oven and get that preheated. Okay, so the pork is done. It has been naturally releasing now for 13 minutes, so now I'm going to release the rest of the pressure. don't know if anybody's like me, but this freaks me out every time. The dogs don't like this either. So, it smells amazing. I'm going to discard the oranges and the bay leaf. It smells really good. The oranges are kind of like falling apart, so might have a little bit of orange pieces in there. Next, you are going to take out the meat and put it on a parchment-lined baking sheet. Oh yeah, it's falling apart. Oh, that looks so good. Before putting it in the oven, it says to put a couple scoops of the juices over the top. So we'll do that. Okay. Into the broiler that's been preheating for 5 minutes. Then once the first 5 minutes is done, stir it around and then put it back in for another 5 minutes. Dinner is done. So we pulled it out. It's nice and crispy on the top. You can serve it with sour cream. We have avocado, hot sauce, tomato, cheese. We're using flour tortillas. I'm sure corn tortillas would be fine with this as well. Cilantro and onion would probably taste amazing on it. That's how I usually eat my tacos, but I forgot it at the store. So I'm going to go ahead and get this served up for the family and then just enjoy the rest of our night. It's already 7 o'clock p.m. If you guys try this recipe, let me know in the comments down below how you and your family liked it. We are back in the kitchen trying another new recipe from the Disney Cookbook. It is going to be sweet and spicy chicken waffle sandwiches. And for this recipe, it does have 2 separate recipes. One for the Mickey waffles. And then one for the chicken and one for the sauce. So I guess 3 recipes actually. So we are going to get started with the waffle first. That's why there's so many ingredients out. We're going to get started with the waffles first. That way I can kind of, it says to put them in the oven for a little bit. So while those are in the oven, then I can make the chicken. These are the ingredients that you will need for the waffles. 2 large eggs separated, which I already have done that here. So I have the egg whites and the egg yolks. A ½ cup of vegetable oil, which I have right there. 2 cups of whole milk, which I have right here. Vanilla extract, flour, baking powder, salt, sugar, and it does say you can use butter, melt butter to use on the waffle iron. I'm actually just going to use Pam spray instead on our waffle iron, and I actually don't have the Mickey waffle iron to make the Mickey waffles. I just have a standard iron, waffle iron that makes square ones, but I just got this for Christmas, so it's brand new, so I didn't want to go buy another waffle maker just to have the Mickey one. So first thing you're going to do is preheat your waffle iron. I have mine plugged in, getting preheated, and you are going to need a stand mixer as well. And in your stand mixer, you are going to add the egg whites, which is from 2 eggs. Then you need to use a whisk attachment. And it says to whip on high until stiff peaks forms, and that takes about 5 minutes. Next, you are going to get a separate bowl, and you are going to whisk together the egg yolks, the vegetable oil, milk, and vanilla. So I have that all right here. I'm just going to whisk it all together. To this, you are going to add the flour. So 2 cups of flour. We need 4 teaspoons of baking powder. It says 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I think this is a half. Yeah, so I'll just do half of this. All right, so sugar, 1/4 cup.
These are happening.
If you guys hear the dogs, I apologize. I've said in previous videos, every time they see the ring light, they see the phone, they think it's lights, camera, action for them, and they're always eating, drinking really loud, playing, barking, you name it, they're doing it. So, if you guys hear them, I'm sorry. When they're really loud, I won't talk over them. I'll cut it out, but if I'm in the middle of doing something and they're in the background, sorry about that. And also, sorry I'm wearing my glasses. I tried to not wear my glasses during videos because of the reflection from the ring light or any lighting. Contacts don't work for me. My eyes hate contacts.
There's no reflection. You look flawless.
Thanks. Josh's commentary. We're going to leave that in there this time. Last time I took it out. This time, I'm keeping it in.
No,
less editing for me to do. But I've had a headache on and off all day. So if I take my glasses off and I do things without my glasses, it's just going to make it worse. So, sorry about the glasses. Okay, moving on. Flour, baking powder, salt, sugar. Mix until combined. Next, you're going to take your fluffed egg whites and you're going to gently fold them into the batter using a spatula. The next step, it says to preheat your oven to 175 and place a wire cooling rack on a baking sheet and place the baking sheet in the oven. I already have my oven running right now because I'm making home fries to go along with this dinner. So I'm going to have to turn the temperature down and then we'll get to making the waffles in the waffle iron. This is the Dash waffle iron that Josh got me for Christmas, and I actually extra like it because it has these little sides here for like spill outs, and we've made waffles a couple times and it's pretty mess free.
That's the best part because it makes sticks, waffle sticks. Turns your mess into waffle sticks.
That is true. There was a bunch of like spill out and they just turned into waffle sticks, and Josh was just eating them like waffles. So I did forget about that part. So he found it on Amazon, of course. If any of you are interested,
they have them at Target. I saw that.
They do have them at Target. You're right. And funny thing is I was actually going to buy a mini waffle iron the day I went to Target, which was a few days before Christmas, and get one of those little mini ones that I've seen all over Instagram and YouTube. Luckily, I didn't because I got a waffle maker for Christmas. So, okay. So here are the first batch of waffles going in. I know I didn't go over all of the chicken recipe yet, but while the waffles are cooking in the waffle iron, I'm going to actually preheat the oil. It says you need 4 cups of vegetable oil. So I have that in the pan right now, and I'm just going to get that preheated. It says to make sure your oil is at 340 degrees. So I'm going to have that preheating, so that'll be ready for our chicken in just a little bit. Okay, here is the recipe for the chicken. 4 cups of the vegetable oil for frying, which I just mentioned in the pan over there. 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of ground black pepper, a teaspoon of onion powder and garlic powder, 1 large egg, 1 tablespoon of room temperature water, and 1.5 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breast cut into 1-inch strips, which I did already. I already cut those. So first thing you're going to do is preheat your oven to 170 degrees. I already have that preheating for the waffles. We are going to stir together the flour, which is 1.5 cups. So we'll get that going. We are smelling the waffles, so they must be done. Oh yeah, look at that. Perfect. I'm just going to transfer them to this baking sheet that's been in the oven. You want the stick right now? Taste test?
Oh yeah, I do.
You do? Okay. I'll taste test this little blob right here.
Careful, it's really hot.
Oh. That's good. It's nice and fluffy. In a separate bowl, add your 1 egg and 1 tablespoon of room temperature water. And then get that whisked together. Here's the chicken, and what you're going to do is judge each chicken in the flour mixture, then in the egg mixture, back in the flour mixture, and then back, and then place on a plate. Preheated, and it says to drop only 5 chicken strips in the oil at one time. While the chicken is cooking, I'm going to get started on the sauce. Here we have 2 tablespoons of melted butter. You will also need 2 tablespoons of sriracha sauce, 2 tablespoons of pulp-free orange juice, 1/4 cup of pure maple syrup, 1/4 cup of sweet chili sauce. It doesn't specify which kind, so I got the Panda Express kind. And it does call for 1 tablespoon of amber honey. I couldn't find amber honey. At any of our local stores, so I'm just going to use regular Arizona raw unfiltered honey. The chicken has been cooking a little over 8 minutes. Looks nice and golden crisp. I'm just going to put it on our plate with the paper towel. There is a suggestion for the sandwiches to add coleslaw on top. Josh doesn't like coleslaw, and I don't know if I would like coleslaw on a chicken and waffle sandwich, so I opted not to make that this time. But you guys can certainly add coleslaw to your sandwiches if you'd like. So I'm just going to plate up. I think I'm going to use two pieces of chicken per waffle. So just like that. And add sauce on top. And here is the sweet and spicy chicken waffle sandwiches. All right, tonight we are going to be making dinner and dessert. First, we're going to start off with the dessert recipe. That way it can get baking and cooled by the time we're done with dinner. For dessert tonight, we are going to be making caramel pecan bars. The recipe says it makes 12 pecan bars, and you will need 1 cup of salted butter softened and a ½ cup of granulated sugar, 2 cups of flour, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and you need 1 4.5 ounce bag of Werther's Original Soft Caramels unwrapped. I couldn't find the unwrapped ones, so I just bought a 5-ounce bag of the wrapped ones and then unwrapped them. You need 1 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk, a ½ cup of chopped pecans, and a ½ teaspoon of vanilla extract. So first you will line a 9x13 baking dish with parchment paper and preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Then you will need a stand mixer with like a paddle attachment. Next, you're going to take the butter, sugar, and salt and put it in your stand mixer. Once those ingredients are creamed together, then you're going to slowly add your 2 cups of flour. Next, it says to take 2/3 of the dough and press it into your prepared baking dish with the parchment paper. I really don't know what 2/3 of all this dough will be, so I'm going to just kind of eyeball it, I guess. Next, you're going to take your caramels in a microwave safe bowl and your can of sweetened condensed milk. Now you're going to put it in the microwave for 1.5 minutes. After the 1.5 minutes, take the bowl out, give it a stir. And then put it back in the microwave for another minute until the caramels are melted. Okay, that looks pretty good now. All melted. And to this you are going to add your pecans, ½ cup. And your ½ teaspoon of vanilla extract. This is a 1/4, so I'm gonna double that. And now you're going to pour the caramel sauce over the dough. Now you're going to take the remaining dough, and it says scatter flattened pieces about 1 inch in diameter across the top. So I guess that's probably a little too big. Next, you are going to put it in your preheated oven for 25 minutes until the edges are bubbly and golden brown. Moving on to dinner, we are going to be making these cheeseburger steamed pods. It is served in the Pandora, the world of Avatar in Disney's Animal Kingdom. I have never made anything like this. I've actually never been to Disney World. I've only been to Disneyland. So I haven't even tried this recipe before. I was a little intimidated because, like I said, I've never made anything like this, but it was Josh's request. He said he really wanted to try them. So, you'll need a steamer basket. I didn't have one of these on hand, so Josh ordered this one off of Amazon. I'll link it in the description box below in case any of you guys need it as well. So, first time using one of these kitchen gadgets, so we'll see how this goes. Fingers crossed it goes good and I can pull this off. To get started for the pod buns, you have to make the dough, which I have pretty much risen right here. You can't really see it. But you need 2 cups of all-purpose flour and then a half teaspoon of dry active yeast, which I just found this at Fry's at the local grocery store. And then 1 cup of warm water. So I already pre-made this because it had to rise for an hour. But you will need a stand mixer with a dough hook. Add the flour and add the yeast. Stir it up and then slowly pour in the warm water. It needs to be around 110 degrees Fahrenheit. And then knead the dough for 5 minutes. After that, you'll take a large bowl and you will grease it. I just used Pam spray. Put the dough in the greased bowl. I also greased the saran wrap just in case it rose that high. It didn't, but I wasn't sure. So I greased the saran wrap as well. Then you'll put it in a warm place. It was pretty cold here today in Arizona. It was only like 52 for the high and it was raining. So the house was pretty cold. I ended up putting it in our bedroom because it's warm. It's a warmer place in the house with the heat on. So that's where I put this. So it's been risen a little over an hour now because I was just making the dessert. So that's ready to go. Moving on to the filling for the cheeseburger pods. So you'll need a pound of the hamburger meat, a half of a yellow onion finely chopped. You will need 1 tablespoon of ketchup. It does call for 1 tablespoon of mustard as well. And Josh and Ronan, and I don't think Emma and Mia even like mustard either. I think Liam and I are the only ones who like mustard. So we are not putting the mustard in the recipe, but feel free to do so if you guys like mustard. 2 cups of shredded cheese. You need 1 teaspoon of mixed garlic, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper, and it does call for vegetable oil to cook the meat, but I'm just going to use olive oil. So now we are going to get started on browning the meat. I did want to mention too, for the steamer baskets, you'll want to line the inside of them with parchment paper. Okay, take your 1 tablespoon of oil and heat it for about 30 seconds. Next, you're going to add your onion. And your garlic. And cook these 2 for 2 minutes. It does say to fill a large pot with 2 inches of water. Place your steamer baskets on top. And bring the water to a boil. Next, add in your ground meat, your pepper, and salt. Alright, so it's all browned up, and I'm going to add the 1 tablespoon of ketchup. Next, you're going to take some flour and flour the surface for the dough. Make sure you have a rolling pin, and you're going to put the dough on the surface. So it says gently roll into a log about 12 inches long. Okay, so now it says to cut off a golf ball sized piece of dough, flatten with a rolling pin. Okay, so now you're going to take the dough in your hand, a little bit of the meat mixture in the middle, top it with some cheese, and then crimp the top together. This a little difficult. I might have stuffed this one a little too much. I need some dough from somewhere else. Okay.
Fine.
So this is the first one. It's all right. Hopefully I get better as we go along here. This is all a new learning curve for me. Please. Oh, look at that one. Oh, that one looks much better. These are going to steam for 15 minutes. After the 15 minutes, you will shut the heat off, but continue to let them steam for another 5 minutes. All right, I believe these are done. I haven't looked at them yet, so here's the final reveal. Whoa, they puffed up. Oh, okay. So our caramel pecan bars are done. I will say I think next time I will add more crust on the bottom, but they look so good. So this will be it for part 2 of the Disney recipes from the cookbook. Let me know if you guys have had these recipes at the parks before and have made these recipes at home. Let me know how good they are in comparison to the ones that are officially made by Disney. Also, I would like to know if you guys have tried any of these recipes from this video or the last video and what you guys thought about them. Stay tuned for part 3 coming very soon. Thank you guys for tuning in. Bye.